Well, the Premier League is back, and it's back with a massive bang after this international break. Janusz Michallik joining me. Were we not entertained in this matchup between Chelsea and West Brom? West Brom coming away from Stamford Bridge as the winners, 5-2, Janusz. I don't think anyone, or at least I certainly did not predict this kind of result. First time now Chelsea are losing under Thomas Tuchel. Massive incidents all the way from the first half. Thiago Silva getting sent off. Some would blame it on that and say, look, Chelsea were reduced to 10 men. But hey, Janusz, it was a lot more than that, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Welcome back, Premier League, and hello, Thomas Tuchel, right? And look, I mean, nobody expected that. I don't even know if there was a bet out there that was available for that. It's just incredible because it shouldn't happen. First and foremost, let's give West Brom a lot of credit here because I mean, they came to play. Yeah, early on, you of course expect them to sit back just a little bit, but this was not a smash and grab. And red card notwithstanding on the second yellow, they played. The goals they score. I mean, the fourth in particular, although the third one as well after that cross from Furlong was tremendous. The fourth, look, this is a goal, I suppose, that Manchester City, Liverpool, Real Madrid, and Barcelona would have been proud of. They would have been 2 goals, third and fourth, that were incredible. So they need to get credit, but it just goes to show that, for Chelsea in particular, you can have all the results, the 14 games, unbeaten in all competitions, the 12 clean sheets, and all of that. It's great to get Chelsea to the position that they're in. But this one is going to hurt on so many levels, Alexis, because it's inexplicable to me how they conceded the first 2 goals and the total collapse from Chelsea in the first half stoppage time, because the goals that they gave away were just very cheap.
Well, like you said, this is definitely going to hurt on different levels for Chelsea, especially on a defensive level. Is something that, Chelsea have done so well, not letting a lot of goals under Thomas Tuchel. But as a matter of fact, this is the first time that they are letting in about 5 goals in the Premier League at Stamford Bridge since about 2011. So is that where Thomas Tuchel is going to look for first now when he's doing the post-mortem for this kind of game? Is that something that he needs to address ASAP, or is it just kind of a one-off?
Well, it could be one-off, but it's an expensive one. It could be expensive one. If you look at the top 4 and what may happen. I mean, I know that we often commentate and talk about this game on paper, and it's sometimes not fair, but that's the bottom line. It's good to get yourself where you are now, but you're looking over the shoulder and you say to yourself, we gave West Brom life because it was 1-0, right? And you say to yourself, Thiago Silva has given him life. He really has. And, I don't like to zero in on one player, but he's way too experienced. I mean, this is a player that has won, just about everything, right? I mean, he knows what it takes. There is a reason why he was brought into this team. And I know he's been off because of injury, but he needs to know that he cannot commit that foul. So, but it's a funny game. It's a game of inches, right? I mean, think about that. On that free kick that ultimately Christian Pulisic had scored, Kyle Bartley on that foul on Christian Pulisic that led into the goal. How is that not a yellow card, right? I mean, Chelsea will rightfully say, wouldn't you want Kyle Bartley to play uncomfortable with a yellow card? Does that change the game at that moment or a little bit later? So, it just goes to show that you just never know. But in no way, shape, or form, Thomas Tuchel is gonna look at this and say, we can lose this game 5-2. There are ways of losing games, and it was always going to come at some stage for Thomas Tuchel, for Chelsea. But you cannot lose to West Brom, who are basically going down and may still go down. And even with 10 men, look at this and say to yourself, it's 5-2. International break or not, injuries or not. And then, of course, some decisions by Thomas Tuchel, right? I wonder what Christian Pulisic feels like. Should anybody care? Maybe, maybe not. But was there a way to maybe build on his confidence where he scored that goal and he comes off at halftime? There were different ways of probably shaping that lineup after halftime to keep him on for the future, not for now.
All right. Well, you mentioned Christian Pulisic. Two other individuals I suppose we can talk about, especially considering that they are German, and Germany's been in the news recently in the international break after that shock defeat to North Macedonia. Timo Werner and Kai Havertz, how did you feel they did? Did you want more from them in this?
A lot more. And I hope, because I really enjoyed Timo Werner, but the biggest indictment for Timo Werner was what happened during the international break. 3 games from Germany, 3 times not in the starting lineup. Not only that, but Jogi Löw goes on record and say the reason he did not play or did not start in those games because we were playing against teams that play in a low block. Well, hello. I mean, this is how Chelsea has played almost all the time. They have the ball, they high press, there's very little room in behind. And this was the case in the first 15, 20, 25 minutes, right? I mean, right away you would have said, I mean, Giroud, with the number of crosses that Chelsea had in the first 20 minutes, Giroud probably would have been a better choice. And for him to finish that game, right? And Giroud not being on the pitch, you've got to ask yourself questions, right? And Havertz wasn't there long enough to come in. But I think you can clearly say that Thomas Tuchel is doing absolutely everything to make sure that those players come good. But at what cost? At some stage, if I'm in that dressing room, if I'm Pulisic, if I'm Ziyech, I'm looking around and I'm saying, well, wait a second here. Ziyech, it's a little bit different story because somebody had to pay the price for Thiago Silva in that decision. But for both to be off, and then, for Havertz, and I'm looking at Giroud in the stand, sitting there, just looking. Thank God he had that mask on because his expressions couldn't have been good.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.